Echo Charles.
Yes.
You got to quickly, if anybody wants to support themselves.
I have a question first.
Oh, man, I knew that was coming.
Hey, is that a common stereotype about Navy SEALs? They got to go tanning. They need the cool sunglasses.
Absolutely.
They need nice hair.
Absolutely.
Not really Jocko, though. You don't go tan, or you go tanning.
No. The stereotypical SEAL thing was something that I didn't like. I didn't like it.
Yeah, you're too
and
hardcore.
the older I got, the more I disliked it. And it's, but it's a reality of, especially during the 80s and 90s, bro. During the 80s and 90s, which is where that reputation. But, the guys in Vietnam too, man. Those guys, like in Vietnam, they wore blue jeans in the field. They, because they kept off leeches and they were tougher. But then, guess what? That turns into like something where some guy in 1992 is wearing blue jeans with his camis, and it's like, oh no, wait, you have no reason to do that, bro. Now, when I showed up at the teams, it was like, hey, I wanted to have long hair and be like a cool guy.
Wait, you did?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's somebody just put a picture out on the interwebs of me with long hair, like circa 1990, whatever.
Yeah, that was a good
long sideburns and everything because I wanted to be Joe Cool. But what happened was, well, number one, the war started. Number two, I started working really closely with conventional forces on my first deployment, a little bit on my second deployment, a ton. Also, I did multiple shipboard deployments where I worked with Marines very closely, even when I was young. And so it was one of those things that, like, when I would hear it at first, I would be like, "Oh, that's no big deal." But then what I realized was it was a real thing.
When you heard the stereotype,
as I moved into leadership positions, and I would hear that stereotype, I realized it was a real thing, and that real thing wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. Because when you meet a Marine Corps battalion commander, and you have long hair, or your uniform doesn't look right, or you meet an Army battalion commander or an Army brigade commander or a senior or a gunny sergeant or a company first sergeant, when you meet one of them, somebody that's been in the Marine Corps for 23 years and you can't put on and blouse your pants and your boots, it doesn't matter how good you are in the field. They're looking at you and thinking, oh, this guy can't even blouse the boots. I don't want him around me.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
So that stereotype, even though it definitely was rooted in truth. Like, hey, man, when we got to Ramadi, everyone had shaved heads. Everyone had squared away uniforms. Didn't allow patches. We've talked about that before. We had guys, like, if we could, we'd put our whole element in Army camouflage uniforms. So ACU, so they just look like Army soldiers.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
Yeah. So I was against it, but I get the humor of it. And I don't take anything that personally.
Dang, so it's a stereotype, like, at work, kind of. I thought he meant maybe, like, out at the club or whatever, like, Navy SEALs tend to be more into that kind of stuff.
You know what's funny is, who made a joke about this? Tim Kennedy. We were here. Yeah. We were recording the podcast. Tim Kennedy was literally doing a photo shoot. And he was like, and he's got long hair, and he was like, oh, I'm not like a Hollywood SEAL. And I was like, dang, dude, I don't even have hair.
I'll tell you why. Let me give you the Barney version of everything he just said. This is one of the things I dig about Jocko, and it has nothing to do with his following or what he did. It's because he's authentic and he's intentional in everything that he does, and we should long to be around that a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with you on that one. So that's when you sort of learned, hey, hair's just to look good. This is after you shave your head, by the way. Hair's just to look good. For sure. Doesn't mean anything else. I'm here to win. Yeah, that's when you learn that.
But that was me growing up in the teams.
Yeah.
That's why Tim Kennedy, he's going to hear this.
I was
making fun of my. Well, he was making fun of my people. Right?
Your people.
About my people having long hair, but he had long hair
and doing a photo shoot. Yeah. You know who said that? Matt Best, right? Matt Best. Yeah. On one of his videos, he alluded to that.
Oh, it's real.
Yeah,
no,
that's
it's a real. No, and it's a real thing. And Tim Kennedy's 100% right too. because there's some seals where you're like, oh come on,
I know,
bro,
100%.
Let me tell you one thing. I just object to in a real strong way.
What?
Somebody using some kind of hair product, right? Like that's a no.
More than tanning?
That's a no. Oh, no one actually tans. Oh, that's not a real thing. Oh
bro,
my
it's
god.
A real thing.
Hey, I was on an ARG in the 90s, and there was the Marine Recon guys, and they straight up had the foil like reflectors under their chins out when they were suntanning. I got a kick out of that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there was a dozen recon Marines out in Speedos straight up tanning with baby oil. It doesn't matter. The reality was the SEALs were the Hollywood tanning guys. That's the way it is. That's what you got to deal with.
At the same time, bro, too, though, let's be very clear that it's me saying it or Tim Kennedy or Matt or that's one thing, okay? Mm-hmm. But if Joe Public civilian says something, it's like, hey, bro.
Yeah. It's all right.
I don't know that Joe Public would actually know that.
Yeah, that's why
they watch movies.
If we rolled out all the stereotypes for the services, like Marines, dumb, jarhead, the crayon thing. That's the big Marine Corps one.
What crayon?
Crayon eater.
Yeah, they eat crayons.
Oh,
right? That's like legit thing. The Army's got their hua things, and
we don't have that kind of time.
all that kind of thing going on. Green Berets, smoking cigarettes. That's what the SEALs would say. Like, oh yeah, they're over there smoking cigarettes and eating donuts. So it's just little stereotypes that have some basis of reality, but you can't put a stereotype. So that's why stereotypes are stereotypes. There's some level of reality in them, but the reality is that you can't blanket a whole organization with any of those.
Yeah.
So that's the way it goes.
All right, bro. Next time you go tanning, let me know.
Dude,
bro. You're
come
the man.
on, man.
You're solid there.
Jocko going tanning. All right.
Yeah,
well, there it is. We
up.
cleared that up. Thank you for that, of course.
Here to help.